We're in a spot this morning where we found some birds on Saturday, just a couple days ago. We called up a hen on this road and decided to come in here yesterday morning and listen. Zach and I got on a bird. We ended up calling him in with several hens and jakes, but we just couldn't get together on the footage. We crept in here this morning in the dark. We tried to get down here in this creek bottom where those birds wanted to be. We didn't bugger them bad yesterday at all. They just sort of worked off. The gobbler had no idea what went on. So we're in here again this morning. We've already heard 3 or 4 different birds gobbling. They're not talking much though. I think I just heard a turkey fly down. So we better get ready.
That's going to do it for our morning, actually afternoon now. It's about 1:30. We're going to go back up to the pickup and get a bite to eat and some water, and then go right back in after these turkeys. They flew down. He might have gobbled 3 times on the ground, and that's been pretty typical throughout this whole trip. Birds are very henned up. We've seen a ton of hunters on this big public area, but everybody we've talked to has had the same problem. Birds are very henned up, not gobbling much once they hit the ground, and midday gobbling is non-existent. So that bird that we were on this morning is probably the same turkey that came in on Zach and I yesterday. And he's got a bunch of hens and jakes and stuff with him. I'm sure that's how most of these gobblers are down through this creek bottom. But the one thing that we are having luck doing, if you call it that, is finding scratchings in turkey side down in the woods. These birds right now are very patternable, and when they've got all those hens, they don't move very far throughout the day. So by looking for sign and cautiously moving through the woods, we've been able to pinpoint some of their high traffic areas, and that's where we're going to go set up tonight. There's a bunch of scratchings down here off of these ridges. Zach's actually watched these birds go to roost last night in this same spot. We went in there just now and confirmed that there's quite a bit of sign there. So we're going to head back in a few hours after we eat and see what we can do with them this evening.
All right, it's 3 o'clock down here in Mississippi, and Zach and I are working our way through this bottom to get to a creek, hopefully to find some turkeys. But we're just about to cross this little ditch, and I about stepped on a cottonmouth. I looked down and all I could see was his mouth wide open, looking like it was about to strike me. But I was just giving Aaron a bunch of crap about how he's scared of snakes and how he's not going to get bit and he's overreacting, but I don't think there's any turkeys over there. I think there's more turkeys towards the truck, so I think that's where we're headed now. But that is wild.
About 5 o'clock right now. We're set up in the area where Zach watched these birds go to roost last night. Still on the same turkey that we should have killed yesterday morning. But he's been pretty predictable so far. He's with a big group of hens and jakes. There may actually be more than one tom, I'm not sure. But on our way in here, we stopped, and Zach Fehrenbaugh thought that he could hear a bird scratching up in there. So, and that's the same direction that they came from last night on their way to roost. You can see this big bowl behind us in these great big pine trees. Right there is where they roosted last night. They ain't talking much right now. They're henned up pretty bad. So all we can do is sort of wait them out in these types of scenarios. But I feel like we got a pretty good setup tonight. Well, the birds didn't do like we hoped. They came in right behind us, which has been pretty typical. You could probably hear them flying up on the camera. However, we only saw 2 hens fly up. That hen that flew up right above us started getting nervous and putting. If there was any other turkeys back behind her, that may have caused them to go roost elsewhere. which may actually be a good thing for us in the morning, because I only saw 2 hens fly up in here, and that gobbler's had a bunch of jakes with him. He could have a group of jakes down in that bottom, and if we've separated him from his hens, maybe he'll be gobbling in the morning. Just have to wait and see. There was a bunch of toms in this bottom this morning though, so we're gonna be right back here again tomorrow.